Welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle, brought to you by Ford Ranger. Joining me again, the great Gordon Tallis.
Hey,
bring the journos in, Brent Reid and Bulldog Richie. Reedy, I'll get to you first.
Yeah.
Looking a lot more relaxed today, no fog glasses.
I've had some sleep, Braith.
Yeah,
Had a bit of sleep since last week.
Pretty wound up, weren't you, last
I'm
week?
off the booze. I'm on a
Really?
week long now. It's been a week, yeah.
You look good.
Feeling good, yeah.
What about you, Dog? Welcome to first grade.
Thank you.
You've spent a bit of time in New South Wales last couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
I feel
big
relaxed.
big
I feel
shoes
good.
to fill.
I'm prepared. I've done my homework. But replacing the man with the red cheeks, the big red ones, it's going to be very, very
He'll
hard
be watching
to do.
Buzzy Boy, so...
Of course he will.
That jacket, though, like, you've amped it up. That is a beautiful jacket.
Mate, it's a nice jacket, Braith, but you know what I put on today? There is an issue.
What is it?
We do our buttons up on this show.
I can't do a button up, okay?
Really?
Are you serious?
Clearly. Well, look at this, Braith. Gordy, look.
It just looks a little bit long in the arms,
All
too.
right.
Let's not get personal straight away.
Let's get into it. Lomax has officially signed a 2-year deal with the Western Force. Boys, I'll come to you, Reedy. Big news.
Well, not entirely unexpected though, Braith, because he didn't really have a home in rugby league, did he? I mean, the door was closed on him effectively because no other clubs wanted him apart from Melbourne. So it's not a surprise he's gone to rugby union. I think this was always expected to happen once the court case was settled. Western Force, good luck to him. I think their average crowd's about 5,000, so that'll be fun.
Dog, can I ask you, where does the Western Force sit as a franchise?
I think they're rubbish. To be honest, I think they're rubbish. They weren't. They were kicked out a while back, and they.
I think they won
Twiggy
one
threw
game.
some money
They
in,
won
didn't
one
they?
game
They
this
came
year.
back. So they're a bit of a rabble. No one seems to know anything about them on the East Coast. You know what? There's no way I'll sit here right now and say that he will survive 2 years over there.
You don't think he'll survive?
No, Zac will be back in rugby league inside the 2 years.
Well, he's lost to the game now. Did the Eels, what do you call it, pettiness, cost him a spot in the NRL, or was it the right decision? You know, I'm coming to you again, Reedy.
Braith, I was very open about saying I think he should be back in rugby league. I thought Parramatta should have taken the offer. You can argue, I don't look, pettiness. It's your word. I'm not using that word, pettiness. I think
I'm not using it myself. I'm just putting it out there because some people do think
they
that.
do. I'm sure people in Melbourne
they do.
think
I
that
don't.
way. And look, I think he should be playing rugby league. I'm disappointed he's not playing rugby league, and we can argue about. Whether it affects our game or not to lose him. I think every time you lose a star, it takes a little bit of the spotlight off your game, I guess, to an extent. Rugby's going to parade him around tomorrow. He's going to do a press conference. Good on him.
You said that last week, sorry, Boy.
Yeah.
You said that last week, and I disagree, and I still do. I actually think it's more a blight in rugby union. I really do.
Well, it's not a great reflection on them either.
Because, you got to look at it. You got Suoliti, Crichton, Wanganita Arce, now Lomax. They're going to walk into the Australian World Cup
He won't
team.
walk into the Australian World Cup.
Well, whatever. The other three, no? Yes?
The other three probably
Okay,
will.
so you're going to have four, possibly
right?
four. He might not walk into it, but you got four guys that have left rugby league, and it's if you put the shoe on the other foot, there's no rugby union players, and I've got a list here. I don't even know. Carter Gordon's one of them, but I could go on with a few of them. They could leave rugby union and make the Australian rugby league team. You know, it's not going to happen. So to me, it says a lot about where rugby union's at and where rugby league's at. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I want to congratulate Zac. Like, at the end of the day, perspective. Zac Lomax is not left on the streets with no job. You know what I mean? He's been paid big money from rugby league over the past couple of years, and now he's got a great opportunity to play for Western Force and the Australian team in a World Cup. So it's not all poor me. The kid's, he's not been left out in the lurch. He's still got a pretty good life.
But I think it's very unfortunate the way it's happened, Braith, and I think everyone's got to accept some blame for that.
Yeah.
And, we can talk about whether Parramatta or Melbourne are fault, but...
Do you still think it hurts our game, though?
I think it, yes.
Yeah.
Because, Braith, every time you just mentioned some blokes there, about five of them?
But has it hurt our game?
Look, it hasn't decimated rugby league,
Yeah.
but every time we take a star away from the game, I think a little bit of the game goes with it. Oh, yes, I think it does affect the game.
Can I tell you, Reedy?
Not to a large extent,
to a degree.
But to a degree.
I know that because we lose players and we worry, and it hurt me when Wendell went to rugby union. That was the biggest name that I had, but it hurts their game more. When there's a kid that's played it since he was 5 and he's there, and I watch it because my kids go to private schools and they all go then grade 10, 11, 12, they bring in the exports. It hurts their
It's
game.
on its knees anyway, Gordy. The game's on its knees anyway.
Well, it's even.
They've got a World Cup next year.
If we lose one player, i.e. Zac Lomax, and in return we get a club that wants to enforce a contract, I think will so be. He can go. I think we earned more honour in the game of rugby league through Parramatta's behaviour than we lose if Zac Lomax goes to rugby union. And I'm with you, Braith.
Yeah.
The fact that every rugby league player leaves and goes to union virtually walks straight into the Wallabies camp. I mean, that just shows the lack of depth that the Wallabies have. And if I was the Wallabies, I'd be concerned about my juniors, who I'm trying to nurture, who have played union all their lives, and now guess what?
point.
You're out the back door, POQ, we got Zac Lomax.
And it shows how strong we are. Let's have a look at what Zac had to say today. The dream of one day representing the Wallabies on a truly international stage and potentially competing at a Rugby World Cup is a powerful motivation. Rudy, what do you think of this?
I think that's tripe. And I'm just actually, I've backed.
You on his back last
You're
week.
off him now.
No, well, this disappoints me because I have backed Zac to an extent through this whole process. But that's just a shot at rugby league. It may be inadvertent, but you've got to be smarter than that. To say a truly international stage, give me a break. You're leaving the game, go.
They just put it in AO. They changed it from Melbourne last week.
No one backs Zac Lomax.
You jumped ship
No
quick
one
here.
backs Zac Lomax more than Peter V'landys in the past 3 months, right? No one cares more about international rugby league than Peter V'landys. If I'm Peter V'landys and I read that quote, I'm saying, go, see us.
I support
see
it.
us. It's pathetic.
Mind you, Rudy, we were saying this the
I know
whole
you
time.
were. Yeah. And again, I think this is really poor advice he's received because you can't tell me his management wouldn't have seen that quote and signed off on
Do
it.
they?
And to
Do
me,
they?
that's
No,
really...
no
well, to me,
comment.
that's
break.
really poor.
I said
we-
they'd run it by the client.
Of course, you have to. Yes.
That's a middle finger to rugby league, though.
Yeah.
And that's a shame on the way out, because Zac Lomax had a very, very successful rugby league career. And
He'll probably want to come back one day, Doggy.
Those first two words get to me. The dream. What dream did Zac have of rugby union? He wanted to play in the Melbourne Storm 5 days ago. So how was this a dream? A dream is something you aspire to since you were a kid.
We all have dreams.
Like my dream is to sit in that chair, Gordon. But, I'm not going to go on there and say it.
No, you took Buzz's
Not
chair.
with that jacket, mate.
Took your mate's spot. Can we put this to bed now? Can we put the Lomax saga to bed?
I'd like to
For a little while.
But good luck to
He'll
him.
come back.
Yeah, good luck to him,
Good luck
honestly.
to him.
though.
I hope he does play in the
He'll be
World Cup.
back, though. Look, down the track, he's signed 2 years. That's when his deal with Parramatta ends, so he'll be back.
Last week you said he wouldn't be back. Anyway, after an incredible start to the season in Las Vegas, the footy finally returned to our shores, and boy, did it deliver with blowouts, upsets and golden point thrillers. Round one had it all.
Rugby League is back on Australian soil. Seasons of Eels and Melbourne underway. There is Munster double pump red. Now Hughes floats it long over to Warbrick. Lovely rugby league try. 6 into the second half. Jerome Hughes, it's too easy. The superstars of Melbourne are holding court here and teaching Parramatta a lesson. Full time. Melbourne 52, Parramatta 4. Warriors and Roosters. Boyd. Oh, Tanner Boyd. Dummy and run. Boyd the bomb has got it to the goal line. Leka Halasima has his first 4-pointer for the year.
It's going to take time. We've got a few new pieces here, obviously, so we'll go back to the drawing board and get ready for next week.
The Broncos Premiership defence begins. Puts up an end-over-end kick. The chase is coming through. Jenkins up there, back it comes, and it's a try. They have silenced this Suncorp crowd. Plenty of chances for Brisbane to rectify this performance. Intercept, Jenkins is away. Jenkins is going to score. At this ground in September, Ivan Cleary was asked about the dynasty ending, and he bristled. The fire is still there. Penrith 26, Brisbane 0.
Completing at about 61%. And I think we had 18 errors. When you play high quality teams and you've got to build pressure, we just definitely didn't do that.
A season start for the Sharks and the Titans. Shark Park the backdrop. Trindle off that right foot, just measuring this kick in the air. It's a contest, it falls for Will Kennedy. And the Sharks go in first. Trindle holds it up beautifully. It's the 6 and 7 kids. And it is all Braden Trindle this evening. Full time here at Shark Park. Cronulla explode out of the blocks in the game and the season.
Super Saturday, and it's the Manly Seagulls against the Canberra Raiders. Kyo Weeks inside the mark, marked away, Mark will score! Oh, here come the Raiders! Kohler on Strange, Kohler straight through, they rise at Brookvale, Kohler in the clear, here comes Tom! Oh, the pass, it's the lane, Tom's got work to do, he's 10 away, Tom is elusive, they're on to Fogarty, under the post, game on! Manly from nowhere! You would would think Sanders could kick the field goal if that's the way they want to go. And an elegant left foot shot. Oh, he's got it! The kid has won the game! Ethan Sanders has broken the hearts of the Manly Seagulls.
Let's wrap up round one. Last year's point scorers of the league against the pride of the league, South Sydney. Murray, Ashton Ward, tipped on by Whiten. Here's Campbell Graham for the corner, South Sydney. Score first. Oh, Brandy's been put down. In front of the sticks, Cody Walker counters. Latrell goes in for his double. And that might do it for the Bunnies. All's well that ends well for the Rabbitohs. They're home by 10.
The Penrith Panthers have flexed their muscles off to a fast start, slow start last year, but smashing the Brisbane Broncos, which we'll get to right now. The Broncos under immediate pressure. Their own media, the Sunday Mail, giving it to them. Worst ever, Hunger Games, you name it. They're ruthless up there.
Bomber.
Didn't hold back. Was that Bomber, was it?
Bomber is
Did not
best.
hold back. So let's get to the Broncos. What do we think of this loss, Dog?
Well, I think worst ever is just about right under the Maguire regime. I don't think they've played a worse game during Madge's reign up
They
there.
had a couple of shockers last year.
Yeah, but look, I'll say this, Braith. They didn't make one line break. Reece Walsh had a stinker. Let's cut through the BS. He was poor. But we've been down this path before. I just think we've got to tread a little bit carefully where Michael Maguire. After round 13 last year, they'd only won 5 games. And there was a pile-on, and perhaps that was justified. But Madge came back to jam it, you know where. So I'm just warning people now. Yes, jump on. Yes, give it a Madge. But just be careful.
Thanks for the warning, Dog.
There you go. You heeded it, no, or not?
I needed that one, yeah.
They were really poor, right? And they were poor in the World Club Challenge before that, the first 40 minutes of that World Club Challenge. I mean, I'm a bit like Doggy. I'm not overly concerned at the moment because, you know, last year they had periods in that first half of the year when they were really poor and they found their way out of it. But, I mean, the issue is this is on top of Payne Haas deciding to leave. It's not just losing footy games. It's losing the best front rower in Rugby League 8, maybe. He'll be remembered as the best front row of all time. So it's all on top of that. It's not just the way they've played. It's the fact that, you know, Payne's going to leave at the end of the year. That's compounded things. But, you know, I think let's judge Madge at the end of the year, not now.
Yeah, I think it's too early to fire bullets. They've just won a premiership. They're coming off winning a premiership. It's not the ideal start to the year, I think.
But there's been pressure on everybody up there. Penrith weren't that good. They made
just
15 mistakes.
Gordy, eh?
Well, they made
It was just
15
clinical.
mistakes themselves.
Yeah.
Right, and I know Brisbane made 18, and it's been horrible weather, right? So it was raining all the time. Maybe Brisbane wanted to go out there and play their style of footy and didn't have the mindset. But I think they can turn it around. Ezra Mam on the bench was a surprising one for me. I think, you know, all the time, I reckon you start with your best third.
I just think with Brisbane, and I said, like with a lot of things, you can talk about the officiating over the weekend and all that. I think it's too early. We've got to give a grace period to everyone here. It's round one. But in this circumstance, you got Brisbane who... Madge was under pressure the second he walked in the door. He was under the pump after, like you said, was it 5 from 13, whatever it may be, went on to win the competition. Is it unfair, the pressure that they are under and he's under, given what he's achieved there and what they have achieved over the last 12 months?
Why is it always Madge who's number one when it comes to targeting? I'm not saying coaches get an easy run.
Mate,
They don't.
Kevy lost his job. Kevy got
I reckon
targeted.
Madge copped more last year than Kev did the year he got sacked.
Kevy copped the same. He was gone in August. I text the CEO. Let's not listen. That's a big club. They probably got the best roster.
It's the biggest club, Gordy.
Right, it's the biggest club, and that's what everybody got. I tell you what, if the Roosters lose again on the weekend, you watch, you know, everybody go, the Roosters signing DCE and what's happening. That's what happens when you play at the big club. When I played there, right, this is over 20 years ago. If you didn't win a grand final, I remember going in there, Willie Kahn, Alan Cann, Michael Hancock, they all got shown the door. Kerrod Boulders, there was Australian players, got shown the door. That's what's
So we
always
don't think
happened
there's been more
with
on
history.
Madge, though?
They sacked Wayne Bennett.
You can
that
argue
club.
it's fair or unfair, Braith, but that's what life is like at the Broncos. It doesn't matter who's the... Wayne was the
just won
great
the comp,
exception,
they've lost one
right?
game.
Wayne was the great exception. Wayne was able to avoid being under scrutiny.
But didn't they
Wayne
sack
won,
him?
They did eventually. but I mean, that's, you know, I think Wayne was going to leave anyway, right? But Wayne won 6 comps there or whatever.
6 comps.
So, you know, I know Madge won a comp, but there's also... Unfortunately for Madge, to an extent, wherever he goes, there's scrutiny, right? Because of his reputation, his history. He won a comp at South, things fell apart. Poor, you know, West Tigers, things fell apart. Now he's at Brisbane, they win a comp, And it feels like there's a chance stuff may fall apart again. So I think that's why there's so much attention on him.
I don't reckon there'd be as much noise if Payne Haas.
No, that's amplified. It
But there's rumours around him and Payne Haas that keep circulating. And
some of these are unfair, Braith. I mean, there's this story.
So they're not true?
Well, there's a story that they fell out of the army camp at the pre-season. Payne wasn't at the army camp, apparently, I'm told. So because the rep players didn't go to it, they went to another camp, 2-week camp in Toowoomba, I think. And so this is the problem. And Madge, I reckon Madge dealt with it pretty well. He did deal with it really well last year, right? But it's not going to go away because it's Brisbane and. They're a massive club in a massive market, and the Dolphins, and with due respect to Gordy, the Gold Coast, they're in that market, but they ain't the Brisbane Broncos.
No,
they're out there on their own, right? So,
and I know the game's better in Queensland when Brisbane at the top of the table. I know that it does help the Titans and the Dolphins.
You just got to win. It's pretty simple. When they start winning, it'll go silent.
Well, he did win the comp, though.
He did, yeah, I know. It's a new season, mate. It's a new season.
The people I speak to are adamant that Haas and Madge are okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there's this division there that's been portrayed. Whether it's been done deliberately because of an anti-Madge sentiment, I don't know. The mail I keep hearing, guys, it's a bit left field, is that Payne's, one of his primary reasons for leaving was religion. He wanted to come down here and be in a very strong Muslim community in Sydney. He obviously went to Islam in 2019. Sonny Bill was a mentor of his. He changed his name to Hakeem in February, Reedy.
No, well, that's his Muslim name.
His Muslim name,
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So I think you'll find this religion has played a big, significant role in his move to Sydney.
Also, I don't think it's one thing that's driven
Correct.
Payne to come to Sydney. It's a group of things. And some of it's the coach. He wants to play under Wayne. And he obviously prefers Wayne to match.
Well, the rumours aren't going to stop. They're going to keep coming.
Well, they will if they win.
Yeah.
Right.
Winning stops everything.
Yeah. Because people keep talking about. I heard it on Triple M. Burning out the big men, like even Sam Burgess, Ben Teo.
That did happen. Well, so last year, and I called him Payne Haas, and I said it on this show when he was going and he was getting epidurals or whatever it was, and he was going to New South Wales. Laurie didn't let him train, and he was coming back after playing Origin and backing up. Big men, they do need a rest, and what Payne has, what he puts his body through, I think sometimes. You've got to save the tough people from themselves because, that's why there's a towel in boxing because you've got to throw it in sometimes because Payne's going to put his hand up and keep on playing. He played 80 minutes in the first game of the year. Front rowers don't do that.
I was surprised what you brought up before, Gordy, about Ezra Mam. I think Madge overthought that. He wanted to let the sting go out of the game and then bring Ezra in. But I can't pick a Brisbane side that doesn't have Ezra Mam in the starting side. I'd have Benny Hunt at hooker. Corey Pakes can go back to the bench, but Ezra Man's got to be in that starting side.
Everyone knows on this panel I'm a big fan of Madge, and I pushed him last year. Even I went a bit toe-to-toe with Buzz about it. I don't get this. I didn't understand it. When I saw the teams come out, because I was doing the Friday Night Footy on Fox, I was like, why? This kid is one of the elite players of our game, one of the best 5'8" of our game. He's had a full pre-season. He's electric. Even the grand final when he came on, I know it worked in the grand final, but he had instances, that had happened throughout the year that had put him in that position. He had two experienced halves in Hunt and Reynolds. They're both ageing halves now. Get your young, fresh blood out there. They missed the jump and they couldn't come back. I just didn't get it. I rate him as a coach, Madge. He knows that, and I've spoken about that on this show, but I thought that was a really strange move and the wrong one.
It was 12-0 when he came on and the game was virtually over.
And as I said it on the night, as a half, as a genuine half who's used to starting his whole life, coming off the bench is hard when you get put into a halves position because you don't know the flow of the game, the rhythm, the timing, combinations with your 6 and your 7 and your 9. It's not easy to do. If you're coming on at 9, 13, and you're filling in the,
you can have a couple
halves,
of runs.
Yeah, but it didn't make sense to me, and I believe he'll be starting this week.
Yeah, he has to be. It has to be because it was a bad call. He got it wrong. That was pretty clear from the result.
What about Barnett? Is he going to the Bronx or not?
Well, the suggestion was today, both the deal was just about done. Look, I think the Broncos are clear favourites to land him. As I understand it, that deal is not done yet, but it sounds like it's very close. It'll be done soon.
All right, what do you guys?
So how does the fans believe in the family reasons? Compassionately.
Well, I believe Gordy, he's got some family in Brisbane, I'm told. But obviously the main core of his family is in Taree. Right. But that's a lot closer than New Zealand. So
I get that. It's just, then if you're leaving a club and saying I want to go back to be closer to my family and you don't go as close as you can to your family.
Does that fill the gap of Payne Haas moving on?
nothing.
Does it get close?
Yeah,
It's a fair replacement.
yeah, I think
He's a different player. Payne's a fierce running sort of front row, isn't he, Braith? Where this bloke's just tough as. And I got a massive rap on Mitch Barnett. Jeez, he's a hard bastard.
Yeah, like a tough, with those young forwards, those big athletic guys coming
And
through.
experience,
I think a young, tough guy, like an older, tough head in there will certainly
Got
help
injured
him.
after Origin 1 from memory. And I
Was
think
it
New South
bicep or
Wales
something?
really missed him.
Yeah.
Really missed him.
All right, the Chooks suffer shock loss to the Warriors. Did anyone see this coming?
Well, I tipped the Warriors.
So you saw it
I
coming?
saw this come. I did, fact. Saw it coming.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Mate, I want to see
Thanks.
that.
So elaborate.
I just had I don't know why, Brad. I just had a
but you should,
sense.
see, that's where you ruin yourself. Really.
Well,
You come on and say,
I've got to say,
why.
I'll tell you why, Brad. I'll tell you why.
You still haven't got over a DCE leaving your
Well,
club Manly.
I'll say this about DC. He's 37.
Yep.
He's played his best football. He's not getting better, right? And I understand why they signed him to help to mentor Sammy. But that was a fear of mine. I think it was vindicated. I think DC didn't have a great night. I mean, defensively, he got caught out a couple of times, and it's going to take him time. But, at 37, I think he's close to the end of the beginning. That's pretty obvious, right? So
So he's 37.
Yep.
And you're saying it's going to take time.
yeah, which he doesn't have. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that works out.
Okay.
Not
I'm
well.
trying to do the maths.
Not well. I suggest, Braith.
Is there pressure on him, Dog?
Oh, absolutely. He was poor. There's no trying to sugarcoat that performance. This is what I wrote in the Telegraph today, makes Rocky start. I think the key issue is what Reedy just brought up, though. He's 37. You don't get better when you're 37, do you, Gordon?
No, definitely.
Father Time doesn't wait
I
for
think
anybody.
The best year, I think his experience at training would help, with the younger halves. But as for going out there and paying the price and doing those things, I thought DCE going there, right? Obviously, tough conditions every time he played New Zealand. I thought his long kicking game, all those things would have been spot on. That's the experience that he would have brought.
The worry for me, Gordy, is they developed some bad habits right last year. Defensively, they weren't great. They come out their first game this year and they get flogged again, and they give away so many penalties, so many 6-agains. That's the concern for me. They don't look as though they've learned any lessons from last year.
Well, they've been doing it for years, the Chooks. It's their Achilles heel, is discipline, penalties, knock-ons, and they did it again on the weekend. Overall, I think DC will get better as the year goes on. I saw enough out of their combination to think that to think that they can have a really good year still. My concerns are the defence, and I think I mentioned it. I think it was the end of last year when I was looking at their numbers. Both Sam Walker and DCE, both targets. In terms of defence, I think they're down around their best case 10th defensively. One of them maybe in the competition as a half. So they're quite vulnerable in that position. DCE got beat on the inside and outside. Sam later in the game got caught out. Sam's a small body. DC's making poor decisions. At the back end of last year, his defence for Manly was poor, right? Yeah. So they've taken him on. And a lot of comparisons to Cooper Cronk. Cooper Cronk was 5 years younger and in form. You know what I mean? And playing well. He's 5 years older and he was out of form last year. It's very different. So you can't compare that. Do I think they're going to get better and be a force this year? Yeah, I do. I don't have them in the top 4 like everyone else, or a lot of people do. But I think they'll get better and do well. But there are concerns. Like it's a very different.
Well, they're in a good position. They got those young. Well, they got Hugo. That was like the way he developed last year. Like they could easily slot him back in there.
Yeah.
So, Reedy, the 18-7 penalty count. Can I ask you about this because you've just brought up the Roosters' ill discipline?
Yeah.
Did 18-7 surprise you, and do you think it was justified? Because Robbo was dirty, and Teddy on field was becoming increasingly frustrated. It's becoming a bit of a scourge in our game, I think. The continuation of captains going up to the referee every single penalty, and they have that right as a skipper, but I think eventually a referee's going to say, you know what, enough. Enough, go back, get on with the game.
You know what I'll say to that? I agree, but the officiating wasn't good in a lot of games over the weekend. And I don't want to, I say, again, it's the first round, so I'm going to hold like Mel Gibson and Braveheart. I'm just going to hold. But I don't want to put it on the NRL and all that. But you're right, and they can't blame anyone. We just saw the stats, and you brought it up. Yeah. They're diabolical. Their discipline's diabolical, and they didn't really address it after the game, but. This is what they do every year. If they complete it 75%, the Roosters, here it is. Have a look at that. They're second worst, 2021, second worst 2022, the worst 2023, the worst 2024. And last year they improved to 7th, which is still way off the mark. So
they don't always tell the story right, because sometimes teams give away
But it does for them.
tactical penalties. But for them, it's been so consistently bad, Braith. That's the problem. That's the issue for me. They've been consistently one of the worst teams in the comp, just giving their opposition leg ups.
It's
and
frustrating
you can't
because
do
their
that every week.
potential, you know, even in these years, their potential to win a comp, the squads they've got, the rosters they've got, if they just had that discipline, you know, and they, you know, even Sammy Walker, and I've said it so many times, love him as a player, he's outstanding.
Yeah, so good.
But it's just those little, you know, kicking on play one and play two and a couple of sets in a row when they were coming back and they had the Warriors on the ropes, and that's where they need that DCE experience and that guy to come in and go, Sammy, you know, let's get a repeat, or let's, you know, play the set out because we're on top here.
The Warriors this week, Braith, they're up against South, and that left side attack.
Yeah.
Cody, Dave, Latrell, that's Daly's side.
AJ.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the worry this week. South was so good on Sunday, and that left side is so potent that if he's making bad calls this weekend, they're going to get burnt, or Friday night, sorry.
Raiders young gun seals the deal and thrilling Golden Point win. What about this? What about the finish?
Well, I'm going to ask you, bro. A young kid standing up in that moment.
You've
been there.
Is what it's all about, you know, Gordy. And you know, we were sort of talking last week about halves and, you know, field goals, and I'm not going to go into that, but Ethan Sanders, like, they put their trust in him and let Fogarty move on because they couldn't ice moments in big games. And this is only round one. But I love the fact that he just said, give me the ball, didn't overthink it, and that's the advantage of being young and not having the experience and the, you know, the heartbreak of maybe missing these moments. But he just said, give me the ball, struck it beautifully, and just iced that moment like a 10-year veteran. And what I love the most about it, and this is what really caught my attention, he didn't over-celebrate, and in the interview after the game with Fox League, he actually thanked Fogarty for all the time he'd put in with him in Canberra, and that says a lot about the kid. You know,
Didn't over-celebrate. He didn't celebrate at all. No. It was almost the most underwhelming Golden Point I've ever seen.
It's like he missed it, dog. I thought he missed it.
It was bizarre, wasn't it? It was bizarre.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. The two Ethans, they are guns.
Do you know what I love,
They
right?
are guns.
Do you know what I love? I think some of our halves are gun shy, and it's okay to miss, right? Like, seriously, like, if I'm a front row, like, we make mistakes and miss tackles or back rows, I would back my number 7, 6, 1, because they practice this all week at training, and have a shot, mate. If you think you can get the distance, have a crack. And then I thought Manly had a chance to set earlier, and they didn't have a go. They can all hit them from 40 out, because I've watched them, and I guarantee they can, but it's just about, you know, the confidence.
Ricky vindicated with his decision to keep Sanders and move on Fogarty?
I don't think it was Ricky's decision ultimately, Braith, because Manly, remember, they upped their offer for
They put an extra year.
Fogarty to 3 years, and Ricky said, look, at his age, we don't want to keep going up and up.
Did it not bring back shades of the finals last year?
Yeah, possibly, yes.
This game?
Oh, well, it did, certainly. Yeah, certainly when Manly were coming back, I'm sure Canberra was thinking about that Brisbane game, no doubt in the world. But look, I don't know whether it justified it, but certainly a star is born, so to speak.
It's a good start, isn't it?
Ethan Sanders was. I mean, he was a star. I tell you what, I want to ask you too. Is that replay, guys. Manly's chase. It was just an effort area, and there was nothing there at all.
Well, Jake, he had a go.
Jake tried. Look, there's Jake. God love him. And look at everyone else. Look, just standing there.
I think he caught everyone off guard.
I get it.
Jake squeezed a lot out of his
But he's a
arms.
halfback, and we're in Golden Point. There's a fair chance he's going to have a crack at a field goal.
If Jake didn't have the headgear on, he would have got there.
Possibly so. But it slowed him down, bro.
It's
a bit heavy.
My
But
favourite Martian.
you take Jake out of there and look at that Manly side, just watching. And look, as I said, it's an effort area, it's round one, but I reckon that was the moment Anthony Seibold would be most disappointed for in the entire game.
Is he under pressure?
No, he's not under pressure. Again, it's only round one, but look,
Well,
they
you
missed the
live
finals.
on the northern beaches, don't you?
It doesn't cloud my judgment, Gordon. You know that.
Because it doesn't.
Are you on the northern
Doesn't
beaches?
Yeah,
Is that where you got the jacket?
I got it. Yeah, it's 4 years old.
So when is he under pressure then?
Oh, again, without trying to sit on the fence, let's just wait. I heard that, Gordon. Let's just wait till round 6, 7.
Well, dead set. They just lost the Golden Point.
To the minor premiers from last
They're going to be
year.
a top 4 side, Canberra.
So
let's there's no shame in losing that game.
Just say you buzz for a moment.
All right.
Have you got a coach pressure thermometer or barometer?
Pressure as in those under scrutiny or those that
Where's he at
could
now?
potentially lose their job?
What round has he gone in?
Well, if you're talking about a coach under pressure to lose his job, I think it's Todd Payton. If you want me to be...
And,
it's not a
okay, and if
question.
we have a podium, Who's on the other 2 spots with him?
Oh, geez, you put me under pressure here, Gordy.
Oh, well, that's what happens.
Well, I don't think Seabold's under pressure just yet.
You're in first grade now. Well, Buzz would have answered this by now.
Mate, just have
Well,
a
you
shot,
help me out
mate.
here,
Ball back
Reedy.
here. Listen, mate, just have
Well,
a
I'll tell
shot.
you what,
Ball
I
back
mean,
here.
Jason Rolls is not under pressure, but is he under pressure internally for results? Yes, he is. That's not to say he's going to lose his job.
Are
He's
you
not.
dancing around here?
No, I'm not dancing around at
So
all.
I thought,
Well, Flano?
yeah. So I thought,
That's a big call.
Well, he knows that. He's not silly.
oh,
Flano
you'll be
knows
getting a phone call now.
Flano knows he's
Yeah,
under
good luck
pressure.
with that.
Yeah, he's not silly.
Mate,
he knows
honestly, I
under
mean, Siebes, like, their opening 10 minutes, unbelievable, right? They had all the ball, and then they just lost complete control of the game. And I don't point the finger at Siebes for that. I think some of their forwards let them down. I think they got dominated in the middle of the field. I'm not sure they got the cattle to go up against a side like Canberra, which is so strong in
They don't
their
have the
middles.
cattle. They got some
their
good young
middles are
kids.
so
They got the
strong.
Trbojevic.
Well, Paseka's a good player, right?
Olakau'atu.
But he's on the edge.
Olakau'atu.
I'm talking the middle of the field.
Kola.
I'm talking your
Kola Hopewadi.
Jakey. Jakey's lost a step. Let's be brutally honest about it, right? I mean, Jake's lost a step. He's still having a red hot go, and we saw him have a red hot go to try and stop that field goal. But Jake's not the Jake he was a few years ago.
If it wasn't for Kola, that game was dead and buried. And
he's
Manly
brilliant.
didn't look like they were even like in that second half before Kola did that on Strange, the palm and the skip on the outside. They weren't looking likely at all. So that was Kola who did that. Remembering they are at home. They are at home. They rarely lose at 4 Pines, and they got the jump on Canberra, and they still lost. I mean, I know they got back into it and did well to do that, individual brilliance, but there's definitely pressure building there. There's got to be.
Well, they've got Newcastle this week, I think.
At Brookie again.
At Brookie again. If they're 0-2 at home, then we'll start talking about pressure.
All right, stick around, journos. This Wednesday, a brand new show on Fox Sports. Motor Racing 360 begins. Jess Yates, Paul Murray, Mark Scaife and James Phelps get to the bottom of all the big issues in supercars, MotoGP and Formula One. Catch Motor Racing 360 this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 506. Welcome back. Let's take a look at our nominees for our Sportsbet Player of the Round. Tuafalongo, 5 line break assists. Tanner Boyd, 4 try involvements. Braden Trindle was outstanding with 4 try involvements as well. And Ethan Sanders, of course. What about his performance with that match-winning field goal for the Raiders? Gordy, I'll start with you. Who's the man for you?
Yeah, I'm going to go Tanner Boyd. I think that's his best game he's ever played over there, up against Daly, Cherry Evans and a fancy Roosters side, but you had him winning, really.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Ethan Sanders for me, young kid on debut. Oh, not on debut, first game for Canberra, but stole a moment.
Yeah, Braden Trindle for me, that first half against the
Thanks for
Titans
bringing that up.
was very, very ordinary. Clearly that's an old photo though, because he looks a bit like Gordon.
Yeah.
Looks a bit like Gordon right now.
He's been to Turkey.
Gordon, go and sit next to him. And
Mate, let it go, mate. Let it go.
Separated at birth.
Has he been to Turkey overnight, or that's an old photo? I'll go Tuafalongo just to throw his hat in the ring. I thought he was outstanding, and filling the big shoes of Paps, and he's done it. I love watching him play. All right, the Tigers board now. Is it true that these guys want a pay rise? Can you talk me through this?
I could not believe I was reading this. I was gobsmacked. Here's this Tigers board all through Holman Barnes Group, Brady.
The Holman Barnes Group.
Holman Barnes Group, who are the main majority owners of the Tigers, wanting pay rises, and not just pay rises, significant pay rises.
Can I ask a question?
No, hang on, let me finish, Gordy. You know why? Because it was an absolute diabolical disgrace what they've put this club through over many years, and now they want more money.
Okay.
This is an absolute joke.
But how are they
Shame
going
on them.
off the field with making their budgets, with sponsorship, with the things that a board is
In the
supposed to
current climate, after what we went through in summer, you do not ask for a pay rise.
Rudy, where do you sit on this?
I think it's a bad look. I'm not sure what their bottom line's like at the least. I'm sure they're making
Well, that's
plenty.
what you judge
sure
them
they're
on.
making plenty of money, but it's a bad look given the drama that happened late last year. Well, not even late last year. It was over multiple years that they've had drama. So yeah, it's a bad look.
Doggy, some more drama today, was there with the board? Or?
Yeah, there's another story about to drop in the Telegraph. Tony Andriacchio is a former Tigers, or Holman Barnes Group, I should say, director. He was sacked about January last year, along with 2 others, Dave Gilbert and Rick Wade. But Tony Andriaki has now sent a legal letter to the club demanding that he be reinstated as a director and as a member. And if they do not agree to that, and the mail is that they won't agree to that, that later this week he will commence proceedings in the New South Wales Supreme Court. Hardly an ideal start for poor old Benji going into their first game of the season on Saturday.
Big news there. You're dropping there, Bulldog, eh?
Yeah, see,
What's
I'm
his
not the
name
only
again?
one to break news.
What's his name again?
Tony Andriaki.
Tony Andriaki, right?
Can you say that, Gordon?
No, I'll leave that to you, mate.
Does it impact the playing group, though?
I think it does to some degree, Reedy, in that you read these things. They're not immune from seeing things. And you know what? It doesn't impact their ability to make tackles or make breaks or kick goals, but it impacts their psyche thinking, here we go again, the board's at it again, can't we just have a harmonious, peaceful board?
Should put Andriaki as 19th man.
I reckon the players couldn't give a hoot. I don't think they'd even know. They wouldn't have
agree.
any. I'll tell you what.
They're so used to it anyway.
I'll tell you who it does affect. I reckon would affect is Benji, because Benji is the guy at the helm of this club, trying to keep the playing group cocooned from it all. They've shown a lot if they give Benji a long-term extension, and I can imagine the one thing Benji wants is stability. You have this crap going on, but I don't think it affects the players. Wouldn't I reckon half of them wouldn't even know who these blokes are.
Oh, they look like they're doing a good job there at the Tigers, and it certainly did over the pre-season. They look focused. They had a good trial, but let's get to the Titans. Let's dismiss trials after the weekend. They looked awesome in the trials, and look what happened to them against the Sharks. Gordy, what happened?
Yeah, well, I wasn't disappointed. I was shocked because of the steps that we made forward. We looked really connected through the trials. But like Parramatta won the pre-season competition. We were right up there, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't see this coming. And for the first time, I was really disappointed, as in, because I'm part owner.
I should give the Sharks some credit. They were
very good.
Red hot, the Sharks were.
Well, it looks like Trindle's running the team.
Oh, it was pathetic. I'm not defending the Titans. They were woeful. No offence, Gordy. They were woeful, truly woeful. And I think we all expected they'd be better under Josh, given the optimism around the club in the pre-season. But this was, it was shocking. But the Sharks were very, very good. And Nico and Braden Trindle looks like unbelievable.
It looks like Trindle become first receiver. Look at that. He started to control the side, and Nico played second fiddle, which seemed to work.
So the lack of success, Gordy, wasn't Des Hasler's fault after all.
Why wasn't it?
He was the coach.
He was the coach, but we've got exactly the same result with a different coach.
I think it's a lot happier club now.
Getting him out was supposed to be...
I think it's a lot happier club now than it was when Des was there.
Supposed to fix everything.
I'm going to jump in Madge's glass house. Mate, I've won 3 comps, so I'm immune to it. Okay. It's all right.
It's one game, Doggy.
Yeah, but look,
mate, it's one. Listen,
Hasler,
it's
Henry,
one game.
Holbrook, Brennan, all these.
And they all had losing records. So I'm going to stick up for the club now. They all had losing records. I know you're going to stick up for the club, and I'll expect you to. But this is a club that's had one coach, who's coached there for more than 100 games, John Cartwright. Yes.
And the rest have got the heave-ho prematurely to some degree.
Because rugby league is a result-driven business, and no one likes it unless you're playing.
Well, how long has this bloke got?
It was only round one, and I like the fact that they thought
that was bad.
It was horrible in the first 40. I thought
I was going to shout you a beer after the show. You're gone. Man.
Anyway, got to go. Thank you, Reedy. You're very good, Doggy. You got a bit to work on.
Out of 10?
Am I out of 10?
5.
Give me a 6. I've got to go and list some
One for the jacket.
I'll wear this jacket next week.
Take
do the
a few
up, all right?
Next week I want that to be able to fit it. Up next it's Heavy Hitters with NRL CEO Andrew Abdo, and after us it's Matty and Cronk. Welcome back. Time now for Heavy Hitters with NRL CEO Andrew Abdo. Andrew, I know you're a busy man, so thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming on. After Vegas, another success. 3 years in a row, gets bigger and better every single year. How?
It's phenomenal, isn't it? It's become a tradition on the calendar, something everyone looks forward to. And the numbers are just astounding. I mean, you take the Super League game. That game was the most watched Super League game on Fox Sports history. Then the Knights Cowboys, the second most watched game in Fox Sports history. And then the Dragons Bulldogs was the most watched game between those two teams in the history of the game.
Crazy.
So huge response. I think it's become a tradition for our fans here in Australia to get together. It's almost like the bookend of the grand final. It's become like that. And then, of course, you get 20,000 Australians descending on Las Vegas, and nothing goes wrong.
Yes, everyone's happy.
Everyone's smiling. And it's great to see the players also really enjoying it, relaxing a bit more with the fans, and the amount of time that they spend with the fans. Winning new fans in America, but also obviously the fans that travel. So it's a phenomenon, and it just keeps getting stronger.
You mentioned Super League and you mentioned fans. Now, what about the impact of them over in Vegas and the contribution they bring to the whole spectacle? It's pretty important, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, this was, Peter V'landys mentioned this right in the beginning, and he was really strong on us. I mean, there are a couple of reasons for us. Obviously, we want the Super League to be strong and healthy, but it's very rarely that we get an opportunity to play NRL and Super League games together at the same time. And obviously the English fans, we had almost 10,000 of them descending. They love to sing and to see the traditions and to see the way in which they celebrate the game. Slightly different to the way we do it, but there's a bit of magic when you combine the two together. And this goes beyond Las Vegas. We want them to get the same benefit we do, which is really a big kick to their start of the season. And we've seen this have a positive impact for Super League as well.
Andrew, I'm just getting my head around Vegas, and then we go over there.
Look like you were pretty comfortable over there.
Yes, very, very comfortable. But then we start talking about global round. So how is that going to work, and will Vegas still remain on the agenda?
So Las Vegas, absolutely.
Yes.
We committed to doing this for 5 years, and it's growing and it's getting stronger. We're getting more people attending, and it's really working for us. And it's become about a celebration throughout the week. So we want to extend that and build on it. And so what we're looking at with Global Round and another brainchild of our commission and commission chairs, how do we take the game to even more markets and truly globalize the game? So new destinations that build off Las Vegas. Now, whether that all happens at the start of the season and where we go and how we deliver it, we're obviously hard at work at doing that. But it's about building off Las Vegas, not substituting for it.
Andrew, 6 years in the job, highly scrutinised game, high pressure, ruthless and relentless boss. How do you stay motivated? How do you sleep at night?
Oh, my wife Anna is not that relentless. She's pretty laid back. Actually. I mean, I love what I do. Right? How could you not? This game means so much to so many people. I mean, ever since I was a young kid, sport's always been a beacon for me, and it's been something to look forward to. So to be able to work in sport and learning how to deal with complex situations, learning from great people and from the different stakeholders in the game. Peter is an outstanding chairman. He's a can-do person, and I've learned a lot from him and his style of leadership. He's bold and he's ambitious, and he loves the game. And I'm the same. And we're competitive, and we want to do the best we can possibly do for the sport. But I've also enjoyed learning and listening from the fans and the feedback we get from our fans. And we've got the most passionate fans in the world. You don't take that for granted. Yeah. And the conversations I have with the clubs, the Players Association, all these different aspects of sport, and you're right at the centre of it. So I love what I do, and I get plenty of feedback.
What's Peter like as a boss? Like, honestly, it intrigues me because he's such a busy man, such a really successful guy. I know, but what's he actually like as a boss?
He's a great human being, first and foremost, And as I said earlier, he loves the game and he cares deeply about the game. But he has high standards, and he's got a work ethic like I've never experienced in my life before. I mean, he literally doesn't sleep. Yeah. And he's always thinking, and he's always thinking of ways in which we can grow the game. And he pushes me, he pushes us, and he pushes the management team. But he's also very fair. And he's got a great sense of humour, and that obviously comes across in some of his interviews. But some of his best lines are when it's just he and I. And but I won't talk too much about that.
Keep that behind closed
doors. You said bold and ambitious. We got PNG and Perth coming in within the next couple of years. Do you get any sleep at night? Does that make you nervous?
I mean, how good is it that we're talking about the growth of the game and expansion, and we're expanding into new countries, into new states? I mean, from the west to the east, right? Rugby league is thriving in the Pacific, and Western Australia, we have so much history there, but also now this is an opportunity for us to use and capitalise on the brand of the North Sydney Bears and then the iconic sort of legacy we've had there for over decades in Perth. I can't wait. I can't wait for season 2027 and seeing the Perth be in action. It's going to add a whole other dimension to us. Then you look at 2028 and PNG, a whole new country coming in, and we've spoken about the passion PNG people have for the sport. This is something that's going to unite a country that has 800 different languages, a whole bunch of different cultures. It's going to get them in and behind something, which I think is going to add a huge amount to our competition. Incredibly exciting.
Is Michael Chammas the man for the job? Obviously, a journalist, and there was a lot of talk about it. He's been doing a lot of media. He sounds like he's loving the job, and he's doing a good job.
He has tons of passion. I mean, what do you look for in someone in your team? You want them to be smart, hungry, and humble. No, he's very smart. He's very hungry. He works incredibly hard. He takes a lot of the work that he did before he had the job was proactively. And I saw the glint in his eye when he travelled to PNG. He got it. He got the vision. He understood what this means for the game and for the people of PNG. It's real with him. It's very authentic. The humility, well, he still needs to probably work on that. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, in all seriousness, he is someone who's driven. He's going to be successful. I've got no doubt that he's going to be a great GM of football for this franchise.
A black eye for the game, if it is. Lomax, obviously what happened with Parramatta, Melbourne Storm. He decided today to go to play rugby union. How do you view that?
Well, obviously we want the best players possible in the world, the best athletes in the world playing rugby league. But we're a professional sport, and in the days of professional sports, players, move. And they move clubs and they move competitions. The door's never going to be closed, Zach, and maybe we might see him playing rugby league and NRL again, hopefully. And obviously, looking back, this was a drawn-out affair, which the fans didn't like. So we need to look at that and think about what we can learn from this, what we can do better. But ultimately, hopefully, we see Zach playing rugby league at some point in the future.
Now, the biggest question of the night. Without Buzz Rothfield around any longer, is your job easier or harder?
What a legend Buzz was. I'm not going to answer that because I'll tell you what, it deserves me just giving some praise to Buzz. 50 years in the industry. He was a legend of the game, a great journalist, but he also, at his heart, just loves the game. He really does. And I have not noticed any difference in the amount of texts I received from Buzz since retirement. So he's definitely still fully engaged.
All right, well, congratulations on everything, Andrew. We appreciate you coming on. We value the partnership and relationship that we have at Fox League with the NRL. Yourself, Peter, and the team doing a magnificent job, so thank you very much.
No, great to be here, and it's great that the season's up and running.
That's it. We can't wait for the rest of it. Up next, we reveal our player of the round, and after us, it's the latest edition of Matty and Cronk. Welcome back. Our Sportsbet player of the round is Braden Trindle with 40% of the vote, so quite dominant with that win against the Titans, outscoring the other three players there. Gordy, what a performance it was by him.
He was outstanding. That's probably one of Cronulla's best performances too. I think that's the best they've played in a couple of years.
Yeah, his combination with Hines was very good. I think that'll get better too, won't it? Because it's the big games, they've really got to stand up. All right, that's it. We're going to get that's it for NRL 360 for tonight. Now it's time for Matty and Cronk.